The smell of lilies hit her first, sweet, heavy, suffocating. Lena Cole had always loved flowers, but today, standing in her grandmother's sunlit living room, surrounded by too many blooms, the scent felt like mockery. Her ring caught the light. A thin gold band, simple and cold, glimmered against her trembling fingers. She had signed her life away in a courthouse barely 24 hours ago, her grandmother in a wheelchair, weeping and coughing, whispering, "Please, baby, do this for me before I die." And Lena, the ever-loyal granddaughter, had done it. She had married a stranger. A man who didn't smile, didn't ask her name twice, and didn't even offer to hold her hand as they signed the marriage papers. She'd gone home last night replaying it all, too numb to cry. Now, walking into her grandmother's house, she finally understood why her heart hadn't felt peace. Because peace had been a lie. "Grandma?" Lena called softly, pushing open the door. "It's me. I brought soup, you should rest." Her voice froze mid-sentence. There on the sofa was her grandmother, standing. Not lying down, not coughing, not weak. She was standing, vibrant as ever, laughing with the housekeeper over a cup of tea. For a moment, Lena thought she'd stepped into a nightmare. The bowl slipped from her hands, shattering on the tiled floor. Her grandmother turned, startled. "Lena!" Oh dear, you scared me." Lena's voice cracked. "You're standing." Her grandmother's smile faltered. Well, yes, I suppose." "You lied to me?" Her heart thundered in her chest. "You pretended to be dying so I'd marry that man?" "Lena, please. It was for your own good." "My own good," she repeated, tears spilling freely now. "Do you even know what I've done? I married him, a man I barely know, because you said it was your dying wish." Her grandmother's face softened, her voice trembling. "Kaito is a good man, dear. He'll take care of you. I just needed to push you before it was too late." "Too late for what, Grandma?" "My sanity." The silence between them cracked like thunder. Outside, the sky darkened, gray clouds rolling in as though echoing the storm in her heart. Her phone buzzed on the table. Bestie flashed across the screen. Lena wiped her tears, answering. "Hey, Tasha." "Girl, I'm back in the city," came her best friend's bright voice. "We have to meet tonight. I missed you." Lena swallowed hard. "Can we do another day? Things are complicated." "Complicated?" Tasha laughed softly. "You can tell me everything later. You sound tense. Breathe, okay?" But Lena barely heard her. Her eyes drifted to her grandmother, sitting there, guilt painted across her wrinkled face. She ended the call and turned away. "You tricked me, Grandma. You forced me into this." "Just give it a chance, Lena," her grandmother pleaded. "Sometimes love begins with duty." "Duty isn't love," she whispered, stepping outside. "And I don't believe in fairy tales anymore." That night, she sat alone in the massive mansion Kaito had left her in. He hadn't come home since the wedding. No calls, no texts, nothing. She stared at the ring again, feeling like it burned her skin. A knock sounded suddenly at the door. Her heart leapt, only to find the housekeeper bowing slightly. "Ma'am, Mr. Tanaka said to inform you he'll be gone for a few days on business." "Of course," Lena murmured. "Tell him his wife says hello." She laughed bitterly after the door shut. His wife. The title sounded foreign on her tongue. By midnight, she couldn't take it anymore. She grabbed her phone, texting Tasha, "Meet me at the bar. I need to forget everything." The bar lights were low, warm, dizzying. Lena nursed a glass of champagne as her words slurred with every confession. "And then, I actually married him," she said, giggling through tears. "Can you believe it? I married a man I don't even like." Tasha's eyes widened. "Wait, what?" Lena hiccuped. "But don't worry. I'll divorce him soon. Next month. Once Grandma's stable again." "Huh. Joke's on me, right?" Tasha laughed awkwardly, trying to hush her, but it was too late. A man at the far end of the bar had gone completely still, his dark eyes locked on her. Sharp suit. Cold aura. The same man who'd barely said a word on their wedding day. Kaito Tanaka. And as Lena downed the last of her drink, laughing into her best friend's shoulder, his gaze burned holes through her. He had heard everything. The sunlight was cruel that morning. Too bright, too honest. It streamed through the curtains and stabbed at Lena's pounding head like punishment.
Her throat was dry.
Her memories were worse. Flashes of last night came in disjointed bursts, glasses clinking, Tasha's laughter, her own voice too loud, words spilling she wished she could swallow back. I'll divorce him next month. Oh God. She sat up too quickly, clutching her temples. The room swayed. Her phone buzzed somewhere under the pillow, but she couldn't bring herself to look at it. Not yet. Then footsteps. Heavy. Controlled. Coming closer. Her heart stopped. That sound didn't belong in this empty, echoing house. Good morning. The voice was calm, deep, smooth as cold glass. Lena's breath caught as she looked up. Kaito Tanaka stood at the doorway, immaculate in a dark suit, tie loosened, jacket draped casually over his arm. His expression was unreadable, his eyes sharp enough to slice through the air between them. He was here. For the first time since their wedding day, he was home. Lena blinked in disbelief. You're back. So it seems. His tone was flat, but something dangerous flickered behind it. You had quite a night. Her stomach twisted. You heard? I did. He placed his jacket on the chair, his movements deliberate. Every word. The air thickened with silence. The faint ticking of the clock became deafening. She rose from the bed, panic flooding her chest. Kaito, I was drunk. I didn't mean. He lifted a hand. Save it. I'm not here to argue. She frowned. Then why are you here? He met her gaze for a long, unreadable moment before saying, Get ready. We're visiting my family today. What? I said, Get ready. His voice softened a little, almost too gently. You're my wife, Lena. It's time they met you. Her pulse stumbled. His family? He hadn't even come home in weeks, and now this? Look, Kaito. 10 o'clock, he interrupted, turning for the door. Dress decently. My mother values appearances. The door clicked shut behind him, leaving her breathless. The drive to his family's estate was suffocating. Kaito said nothing. His hand rested lazily on the steering wheel, his gaze fixed on the road, his jaw set like carved marble. The silence between them hummed with all the words they weren't saying. Lena kept sneaking glances at him, at his profile, the faint shadow of stubble, the tension in his shoulders. He looked like a man built of restraint. She wondered what kind of woman could ever break through it. By the time they reached the Tanaka family home, a sprawling traditional mansion framed by cherry blossoms, her nerves were in shreds. A middle-aged woman stepped out, elegance wrapped in a silk kimono, her smile warm and radiant. Kaito, she exclaimed, then turned to Lena, eyes softening. And this must be your wife. Lena blinked. Why, yes, ma'am. Lena Cole. The woman's smile widened. Call me mother, dear. She clasped Lena's hands warmly. You're even lovelier than the photo Kaito sent. Lena's heart skipped. Photo? He had shown her picture? When? Before she could process it, a familiar voice pierced the moment. Oh my God. Lena? Lena froze. That voice. No. It couldn't be. She turned slowly, and the world tilted. Tasha. Standing right there, radiant and poised, dressed elegantly but casually, like she belonged there. Tasha. Lena whispered. Kaito's mother gasped in delight. You two know each other? Yes, Tasha said quickly, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. We're best friends. Well, that's lovely, Kaito's mother said warmly. I was going to introduce you anyway. Tasha is my granddaughter. Kaito's niece. The words hit Lena like thunder. His niece? She looked from Tasha to Kaito, but his face gave away nothing, just that same blank calm that now felt more dangerous than ever. Tasha, dear, his mother continued, why don't you take Lena shopping later? I'll have a word with your uncle in the meantime. Something in Kaito's eyes flickered, barely visible, but Lena caught it. That faint, unreadable tension. The shopping trip was a blur. Tasha's smile was tight, her laughter forced. Lena kept trying to ask how she ended up being related to Kaito, but every time, Tasha brushed her off with a practiced ease that made Lena's stomach twist. When they returned to the mansion, the air had changed. Kaito's mother still smiled, but there was something different in her eyes now. Something knowing, heavy with unspoken things. "Lena, dear," she said softly, taking her hand aside, "be patient with him. My son has never dated before. He doesn't understand affection. But he's a good man. Give him time." Lena tried to smile. I'll try." Even Tasha chimed in gently. "He's not a bad guy, Lena. Maybe you should give this marriage a chance." Lena just nodded, though confusion swirled in her chest. Since when was everyone on his side? Later that night, as the car pulled up in front of their mansion, Kaito glanced at her briefly. "Thank you for coming," he said quietly. She looked at him, trying to read his face. "You're welcome." But the truth was, her heart was a battlefield. Because for the first time since their wedding, something inside her, something dangerous, was beginning to feel. It began with silence again. But this time, it wasn't the cold, heavy kind that suffocated. It was quieter, softer, like the air right before a confession. Lena stood by the window of their home, arms folded, watching the city lights blink in the distance. She didn't know what had changed since that visit to his family, but Kaito had started coming home earlier. Sometimes, she'd hear the faint sound of his key turning at exactly 7. Sometimes, she'd even catch him looking at her, not coldly, but thoughtfully, as if he were trying to solve a puzzle only he could see. At first, she'd avoided him. But one night, the silence broke itself. "Have you eaten?" he asked, appearing in the doorway in rolled-up sleeves, tie loosened. The domestic side of him startled her. He looked human. "No," she replied cautiously. He gestured toward the kitchen. "Then eat with me." She followed him, unsure. The table was already set, simple dishes, steaming and fragrant. "I wasn't sure what you liked," he said quietly. "So, I made a few things." "You cooked?" she asked, half laughing. "I thought billionaires had chefs for that. Sometimes I prefer doing things myself." His eyes met hers for a brief, charged second. "Especially when it matters." Something inside her chest fluttered. She looked away, afraid he'd see it. They ate mostly in silence, but it wasn't awkward. It was peaceful. And when she laughed, genuinely laughed, at his deadpan comment about his strict mother, Kaito's lips curved into the faintest smile. A small, dangerous thing that made her heart stumble. Days slipped by. Their routine became something delicate, unspoken. He'd come home before sunset. She'd make tea. They'd sit across each other, sometimes talking, sometimes just listening to the quiet hum of the city. She caught herself smiling when she thought of him, caught herself waiting for the sound of his car in the driveway. And she hated that she liked it. One morning, as she arranged bouquets in her flower shop, her friend Marisol teased, "You're glowing, Lena. Don't tell me this mystery husband of yours is finally being romantic." Lena blushed. "He's different now. Not romantic, exactly, but kinder." "Kinder?" Marisol grinned. "That's how it starts. Next thing you know, you're in love." Lena laughed, but her heart whispered, "Maybe I already am." That Friday, she decided to surprise him. He texted earlier that he was working late, so she packed his favorite lunch, grilled meat, rice, and miso soup, and left the shop early. Her heart beat faster the closer she got to his company building, her hands trembling slightly as she balanced the lunch bag. She just wanted to see his face light up. She wanted to do something small, something that said thank you for trying. The receptionist recognized her immediately. "Mrs. Tanaka, welcome," she said politely. "You can go right up." Lena smiled nervously and took the elevator to the 12th floor. The doors opened with a soft chime, and her world froze. A woman sat perched on Kaito's desk, legs crossed elegantly, her lipstick a perfect red slash. Her hair gleamed like silk, her posture screaming ownership. "Can I help you?" the woman asked smoothly. I'm here for Kaito, Lena stammered. I brought him lunch. The woman smirked. You mean my husband? The words hit like a punch. Lena blinked, unsure she'd heard right. You're what? The woman stood, stepping closer. His wife. So whoever you are, you can leave before you embarrass yourself. Her tone was sharp, final, the kind of voice that didn't lie. And suddenly, everything inside Lena went still. She set the lunch bag on the table quietly. I see. And then she turned and walked away, her heart breaking with every step. By the time she got home, the house was empty. Again, the silence returned, crueler this time. She changed into her nightgown, sat at the dining table, and stared at the wedding ring gleaming dully under the dim light. Then she pulled out her laptop. Her fingers shook as she typed, divorce application form, city court. When Kaito finally came home, carrying a bag of grilled meat and a rare softness in his expression, he froze at what he saw. Lena sat in the half-darkness, her face tear-streaked but calm. The divorce draft lay open on the table between them. Sign it, she said softly. He blinked. What? Sign it, Kaito. I know about her. Her voice broke. The woman at your office. She said she's your wife. For a moment, confusion flashed in his eyes. Then hurt. Then anger. Lena, that's not. Don't. She stood abruptly, wiping her tears. You don't need to lie anymore. I understand now. I'll make it easy for you. Lena. But she was already walking away. Her voice, when it came again, was low and broken. You never wanted this marriage. Now you don't have to pretend. The guest room door shut behind her. Kaito stood in silence for a long time, staring at the unsigned papers. Then, slowly, he turned and left the house. When Lena called Tasha later that night, her voice trembled. He cheated on me, she whispered. I saw her with my own eyes. Tasha was silent for a long time. Then, quietly, I'll handle it. The next morning, chaos erupted at Tanaka Corporation. Tasha stormed into Kaito's office, hair flying, fury blazing in her eyes. The same woman, his secretary, stood frozen in shock as Tasha's slap rang through the room. How dare you? Tasha shouted. You destroyed my uncle's marriage. You humiliated my best friend. Security rushed in. Board members peered through glass walls. Kaito emerged from a meeting, stunned. Tasha, he barked, pulling her back. What's going on? She turned on him, tears burning down her cheeks. What's going on? You let this woman ruin everything. Lena's gone because of her, because of you. And for the first time ever, Kaito saw it, the devastation his silence had caused. That night, he stayed in his office long after everyone left. When the building grew quiet, he ordered the security team to pull the footage from the last 2 days. He watched every frame. Watched the woman at his desk flirting, lying, claiming to be his wife. Watched Lena's face, confusion, heartbreak, retreat. By the time the video ended, his hands were shaking. The next morning, he fired the woman on the spot, banned her from working anywhere in the city again. Then he drove straight to Lena's grandmother's house, flowers and chocolate trembling in his hands. But the door slammed in his face. Go away, her grandmother shouted from inside. You've done enough damage. Please, he said, rain beginning to fall, soaking through his shirt. Let me explain. Lena appeared behind her grandmother, eyes red, arms crossed. You don't need to explain anything. He took a step forward. Lena, it's not what you think. She looked away. I saw enough. The rain grew heavier, thunder echoing. But Kaito didn't move. He stood there, drenched, refusing to leave. Only when lightning streaked across the sky did Lena sigh and open the door wider. Come inside before you catch pneumonia, she muttered. He entered silently, dripping water on the floor. Then, slowly, he knelt before her. The stoic billionaire, now just a man, broken and desperate. I didn't touch her, he said hoarsely. She lied. I have proof. I fired her. Lena, please. Her lip trembled. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you say something? Because I didn't want to scare you, he confessed. You were already trapped in a marriage you didn't want. I was trying to give you space, time to get used to me. But somewhere along the way, he stopped, exhaling shakily. I fell in love with you. Lena's tears fell silently. He reached for her hand, voice breaking. If you'll let me, I want to chase you properly this time. No lies. No distance. Just us. And against all reason, she whispered. Okay. From that day, he did exactly that. Every morning, flowers at her shop. Every evening, dinners he cooked himself. He took her on dates, awkward at first, but genuine, full of laughter and soft glances. Her grandmother, conveniently, went to the countryside for a while, leaving them alone. And one stormy night, when the power went out and the rain beat against the windows, Kaito kissed her, soft, trembling, real. All the tension, all the longing, all the pain melted. And for the first time, they weren't just husband and wife by name. They were home. Epilogue. The morning light filtered softly through the curtains, wrapping the room in a golden calm. Somewhere in the kitchen, the faint hum of the coffee maker blended with the sound of rain tapping gently against the window. Lena turned in bed, smiling before she even opened her eyes. The sheets smelled like lavender and warmth. And him. Kaito stood by the window, barefoot, his shirt unbuttoned halfway as he adjusted the small white orchid on the sill, the same flower she had once said was her favorite. Good morning, sleepyhead, he murmured without turning. You always wake up just when I start missing you. She groaned playfully. You're corny. He grinned, crossing the room to press a kiss to her forehead. Only for you. The word still made her heart stumble, even after all these months. It had been nearly a year since that stormy night at her grandmother's house, the night the truth came out, the night he'd chosen to fight for her instead of walking away. And somehow, since then, they had built something gentle and strong from the ruins of that deception. Lena's flower shop had expanded. Petals and Promise was now one of the most loved in the district. Kaito had invested quietly, refusing to let her know until she discovered the small note in her account. For your dreams, Kay. They had learned each other's rhythms. Her laughter softened his rough edges. His quiet steadiness gave her the courage to trust again. And now they were no longer just two people bound by paper. They were a family. Kaito's gaze softened as he placed his palm gently on her small, rounded belly. He kicked again this morning, he whispered, all lacing every word. She smiled sleepily, guiding his hand to the spot. I have a feeling. He chuckled. Stubborn like you then. Or protective like her father. Their eyes met. The same look that had begun with tension, pride, and pain, now filled only with devotion. Kaito lowered his forehead to hers. Do you ever think about how close we came to losing this? Lena's lashes fluttered. Every day. And that's why I thank God we didn't. He smiled, brushing a stray curl from her cheek. You saved me, Lena. You made me want to be better. And you made me believe again, she whispered. In love. In forgiveness. In us. Outside, the rain slowed to a drizzle. Sunlight broke through the clouds, spilling warmth over them like a blessing. Tasha's laughter echoed from the hallway as she barged in, holding a tray of pancakes nearly bigger than her. Breakfast for the royal couple. Don't get up, the queen is glowing, and the uncle looks whipped. Lena laughed, covering her face. Tasha. Kaito shook his head, amused. You're supposed to be in class. Tasha grinned, setting down the tray. Skipped it. Baby Tanaka deserves the best breakfast energy. Lena sighed affectionately. You're impossible. And you love me, Tasha said, winking before darting away. When she was gone, Kaito sat beside his wife again. The room smelled of maple syrup, coffee, and fresh rain, the scent of a home finally healed. He leaned close, his lips brushing hers. Mrs. Tanaka, I love you. Lena smiled through tears. And I love you always. Outside, the world bloomed again. Soft light, quiet rain, and the promise of new life. Inside, two hearts beat in perfect rhythm, surrounded by the peace they had fought so hard to find.